we don't understand the law. We don't like lawyers. You understand what we do. Most lawyers don't understand coaching.
Today, I'm talking with Lisa Fraley, legal coach and attorney for health and wellness coaches, who spent years as a corporate healthcare lawyer before realizing that what her people really needed was someone who understood both the law and what it actually means to run a coaching practice. Hello, Lisa. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing really good for a Wednesday afternoon. For you, I actually would love to talk to you more of like your lawyer hat, but if you want to talk about your health and wellness coaching, I'm happy.
I'm going to answer whatever questions you have.
Did you start off doing legal and then you do a little bit of health coaching and then you're like, oh, let's combine the two?
Kind of. Yeah. I started off as a healthcare lawyer in a big corporate law firm and did that for many years. And along the way, became a life coach through Coach U back in 2003, and then became a health coach through IIN in 2012. And I opened my own health coaching practice thinking that's what I was going to do. And then what happened was, while I was in health coaching school, I actually had a lot of clients who were health coaches because I was already trained as a life coach to figure out how to build their business as a health coach. So I was coaching them while we were in health coaching school. And then I did that work for a year or so until I realized there's so many health coaches who were like, we don't understand the law. We don't like lawyers. You understand what we do. Most lawyers don't understand coaching. And the distinctions I just told you between medicine and coaching, or nutrition, the practice of dietetics and coaching. And so you get it. And so I've carved out this niche around medical laws, nutrition laws, and coaching to help people understand kind of what they can and can't do. And then I help with all sorts of regular legal things like LLCs and F Corps and trademarks and copyright and contract reviews. And I have over 50 do-it-yourself legal templates designed for coaches and online entrepreneurs. And I've written a book right here, Easy Legal Steps That Are Also Good for Your Soul. And I have a podcast. So like I've kind of expanded it just to educate people, and then to, of course, provide them with DIY services. And then I do services for them.
Yeah. Amazing. I love how you were able to blend all of those things.
But I always have to say that I do work as a lawyer with the care of a coach. I use legal coach, like I said, in quotes as sort of a brand, but it's really, I don't do coaching in law. I have to do law.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I love the care of a coach.
Is I align legal steps with the chakras, which is very unusual for lawyers. So I've created 7 steps that most people need as they grow in their online business, aligned with each of the 7 main chakras.
That is so cool. I saw that in your with
Cool.
Like, oh my gosh. And I get the same thing, right? Because people that we are talking to understand so many of the financial concepts as it relates to how they coach people in health and wellness. And if I can get them to realize, like, we're all about not body shaming. Why do we shame our money? And if we can get them to make that connection, then they like latch onto it. So I'm sure people come to you and they're like, oh my gosh, chakras. Like, I understand that.
No, that's right. And then also, they can hold the space of 7 steps because they understand 7 chakras. Whereas if you just said, like, here are 7 steps to your money, or here's 7 legal steps, people are like, whoa, you lost me at like step 3, because their brain just isn't oriented that way on a regular basis, just like mine isn't oriented for some other profession on a regular basis.
For sure. I'm imagining too, you said people would come to you and say, I don't like law and I don't like all the legal stuff. So when you brand it as legal coaching, it feels a little more approachable.
That's why my title, as you can see here, is legal coach and attorney, so people know it's sort of both. The legal coach is more the education. The attorney is more being an attorney.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good. Let's dive into a couple of questions then. In terms of daily operations, what are the most significant hurdles that they are facing in keeping their practice running smoothly?
Well, a lot of them struggle with what they call finding clients.
Yeah.
Like, where are the clients? And the second piece I would say is having the confidence to run their own business without a corporation behind their name, or a hospital behind their name, or some other organization behind their name. When you're your business, as you know, Shannon, it takes courage to put yourself out there as, yes, this is what I do. Yes, you pay me directly. Yes, this is how it works. And yes, I ask you for the investment in the offer. And there's a lot of lack of confidence there, even from really highly trained, educated, smart, wonderful, amazing people. They just haven't flexed that muscle. You see that all the time, I'm sure, too.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's always fascinating to me, like you said, these highly trained people that just don't want to talk about money, right? And I mean, I just feel like we do it.
Well, they're afraid to ask for the sale, I think, because they feel they'll be rejected.
Yeah. The rejection, and there's also the stigma. I mean, even in asking people for an interview like this and they do some research, and obviously the Profit First book is behind me. We use Profit First. People will say, I'm in the health and wellness space. I can't be about profit.
What? Really? I hear
Yeah.
that a lot in the spiritual space, honestly, but not in health and wellness because even like fitness trainers and gym owners know they need to make money to keep their gym and fitness operating. I've been doing this for 13 years. I've never heard that once.
I mean, like I said, we just
Giving you
started
their
doing
money
these interviews
confession.
in the last 6 months, and I bet we've had 6 people who have just been that's
Wow.
offensive to me that you would think we can be profitable. And I'm like, no, you have to be. I mean, it's
You're
exactly what
yes.
you said. I'm like, you
Oh my
have
gosh, then they need you. They need you to help them with all of this because the whole goal is to be profitable.
yeah, like I said, our society, we just don't talk about money. We don't want to talk about money. And so then
Yeah.
it just makes people afraid and scared.
Yeah. Well, I think if they don't live in that world, I talk about money all the time because we live in this world where you have to talk about money all the time. We talk about health all the time. We talk about what issues we're working on all the time. We talk about growth all the time. But you're right. If they are coming in from not, if they're like entering this world that we're in, Shannon, I understand what you're saying, how they're just reluctant and afraid because maybe they just weren't raised even talking about it in their family or their wherever community from.
Yeah, and they don't know it. They don't understand it. I wonder if this is true in law too, right? Because law is not understandable. It's not
That's right.
accessible for most people.
Yeah. Like
And so
tech.
there's this sense of shame that if I don't know, then there's something wrong with me. And I'm like, no, I mean, it's not your fault that you weren't taught how to do
No,
it.
I
You
don't
just,
run into that at all.
yeah.
I've
Okay.
not had that at all. It's not shame. It's more, I think, feeling uncomfortable that they don't know what questions to ask. But I wouldn't say it's shame. I mean, money is very different than law. So
Right.
you may be feeling all the shame and all the things and all the money things. But it's much more just sort of like, hi, I know I'm kind of a smart person, but I don't even know what to ask you and I feel like an idiot. Like it's more a little bit of that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that when it comes to law, quite honestly. I mean, I
Hmm.
feel like I'm like, yeah, yeah, there's probably stuff I'm not doing right either. And I don't know what to ask.
Exactly, which is our jobs is to be like, "No worries, no judgment. We just take you where you are and help you move forward. Once you know, like there's no judgment around it. We just help them feel safe and then go forward." Right? Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And figure out where they are and use that as a
Right.
strength. So.
Yeah. Wow. I'm glad they feel comfortable to share all that with you, though. That's a compliment to you. For
Well, it definitely is very humbling to me when I get on the
yeah,
first call with people and they're
totally.
like just spilling everything. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you don't know me from
How have you ever
anybody.
had anyone to say that to, right?
You must have had a lot on your chest, is how I often feel. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you must have a lot going on if you're willing to just bear that
Wow.
off.
Well, that's so nice that you can create that environment for them. That's great.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Like I said, it's very humbling.
Yeah, it is. It's a compliment to you for sure.
Yeah, thank you. So when you think about your clients, I know we are spending a lot of time talking about money and you may not get into it, but do you hear like what do you feel like are some of the biggest financial challenges that they're facing in their practices right now?
Well, just like they've spent a lot of money, like they've invested a lot of money in all the things, right? In the coaching programs and the websites and the business coaches and the things. And then they haven't understood or learned that you have to invest some money to make money. Sometimes by the time they get to law, they're like, oh, but I've already invested thousands of dollars of this. And I'm like, yeah, this is one of the most important steps you need before you even have the things you just did. You just didn't get the memo that you needed to do accounting finance early. So I think sometimes they're reluctant because they're like, but I've already spent all this money. And it's not that they don't value spending money for like a law and accounting, but they think either it's too soon, I don't have enough clients, I don't have enough income, or they just don't want to spend more because they've already spent money.
Do you have people reaching out to you when it's crisis mode?
Not so much, partly because I've been doing this for 13 years, which is like a dinosaur in the online space. So I've been educating my people for years. And also sometimes, but it's probably 5%. It's really very few people in a crisis. And that's usually more like someone took my intellectual property or my patient says they want to sue me. It's not usually around money. It's more around content or professional liability or something like that.
Sure. That makes sense.
Um,
Yeah, I was just thinking like at that point, they're like, I've spent so much money, but I now need to spend so much more because I know like I need you. There's no
Right,
option because I crisis. Sign on.
right.
Where maybe, like you said, they don't realize they really need legal before they ever get started for those very
Or, yes,
and
or
then
they
all of a
think they're
sudden.
too small. That's the other one. At least for a while, they think they're too small, for lack of a better word. Like oh, I only have 10 clients and I don't really need. And so my audience is really two part, Shannon, and it shifted. So first it was health coaches who are people who've been moms or worked in the corporate world and they're now yoga teachers, whatever, they're starting their own business. But the bigger audience that came after COVID was I have a lot of doctors and licensed medical practitioners who were wanting to switch to coaching. So they're less afraid of having a business because a lot of them have either had their own medical practice, some of them have not and worked for others. And I can say this, any of us who are licensed have a level of sophistication because we had to go through the full freaking process of that. So they're less afraid and more just like, I don't know what to do. Like, just tell me what I need to do. Whereas the health coaches that I worked with for like the first 8 years, I work with both still, but they're more nervous and worried, like the more traditional, like we were just talking about, like I'm too small. But whereas doctors, like I've already had a whole medical practice, I know I need to pay taxes, I know I need an accountant, I know I need to do that. But some of the ones are like, but I only have 3 clients, so I don't really. So they have different needs.
Yeah,
What I
for
mean,
sure.
they're insecure. People over here with the license are more worried about losing their license, doing something illegal, doing something wrong, getting in trouble, being sued. And they've already built up assets. They don't want to lose their assets. How do I protect my assets? How do I protect my intellectual property? And then people over here are just sort of like, I don't even know what I'm doing. I just need to get started. I need a contract for my clients. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. And we see that with the money
I
side of
mean,
it too.
doctors don't know what they're doing. They don't know what contract they need for their coaching clients either when they become a health coach and a whole separate business. And by the way, Shannon, they need to have, as you know, separate LLCs entirely. So don't ever let them try to tell you they can put it in one. They cannot.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point that I hadn't thought
They
of
can't be a
actually. Just
doctor and a coach in the same business
right.
for obvious
Yeah.
reasons. Just like why you and I can't be accountant and a coach in the same business.
Right.
You're either an accountant or you're a coach. And you have to have
Yeah.
separate because this is licensed and this is not.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that makes a whole
just
lot of
when you
sense.
run into people, please educate them or send
I was gonna say, I feel
go
like
doing
it's
in a
definitely a
meeting.
conversation that's probably longer than half an hour.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I mean, just like little tidbits of like, if they come to you and like, no, if you have a licensed profession, you can only do what's in the scope of practice for that license in that profession, in that LLC or whatever entity it is. That's it.
Yeah. Just opening yourself up to lawsuits.
No, a
With
little bit. It's a
licensure.
couple things. One, you're opening up yourself to investigation for going beyond your scope of practice. And you're also opening yourself up to your malpractice isn't going to cover whatever that is. So it could be a lawsuit, but they just don't understand where their scope of practice ends. And you can take a loving, coachy approach to your work with your clients. Like, even if you were, let's pretend you're still an accountant, you can still be kind and loving and use coaching techniques. I always say you can bring coaching techniques into a licensed practice, but you can't call yourself that and do that. I do energy clearing. I can't do energy clearing in my legal coaching sessions. Can't do that. My client work with legal clients, like you can do that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, okay, I digress. Back to your question.
That's okay. That's totally fine. What about emerging trends? What emerging trends are you seeing with your clients that's having like the most significant impact on their business?
Well, I would say AI would be the emerging
That's
trend.
the one I was figuring you were going to say. A lot of
Yeah.
people are talking about GLP-1s as well and how that's
Oh, sure.
affecting.
In the health, but yeah, sure.
But I would say for
AI,
legal and
yeah.
using AI.
AI and not understanding that it's not correct for law.
You don't say.
Some of it's correct, but some of it's not correct. And there's more trends of people wanting to use AI to create a legal document and then have a lawyer review it, which is our nightmare. That'd be like, oh, AI did my taxes and I just want an accountant to like review it and just tell me in like 5 minutes that it's okay. Like they just no concept that it's like actually way better to just use my little template that I created for a couple $100 rather than pay for me to go through something and figure out this is what's missing and this is wrong and this is right and we need to add this and we need to take this. They don't understand the editing process is checking something like that. It sounds like it would be super simple. It's a nightmare. It just takes forever. It's way more expensive. It's way more taxing to me mentally. This machine did my taxes. Can you just review it? You're like,
Yeah.
I need all your paperwork. I need all of receipt. I need all your I need everything. I can't just like check it and be like, it's great. They don't understand.
I mean,
that at
it
all.
seems right, sure, but I have no idea.
I just want you to rubber stamp it, but they don't understand what that means. And it's hard to educate about that. Because right now people just think AI is right about everything and they just need a lawyer to rubber stamp it. So
Yeah.
that's my hardest anxiety right now, I guess.
Yeah, and I would say it's very true. I mean, the same is happening with bookkeeping, right? I
Mm.
mean, tax prep, maybe some. I'm not in the
Yeah.
tax prep world very much, but I am in the bookkeeping world. And bookkeeping, like AI is definitely coming for bookkeeping. I
Mm.
have no doubt that it will be there eventually, but it's not there yet. And we get people who have used AI, and I'm like,
Yeah.
can we just start over? We're just going to start
Well,
over.
I always say it's good for research. Ask questions. What is a trademark? When do you need a trademark? I mean, you can't use AI for trademarking, at least at this point, yeah. But like, same thing. You use it for research, like you would use Google for research. But you're not going to be like, hey, Google, do this for me.
Right.
They don't get it yet. They're wanting it to just do everything in a jiffy, you know?
Yeah, it's not the magic pill.
No.
Like
Big ones are the magic pill either.
people.
They can be helpful for some people, but they're not everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So, are there any particular business strategies or mentorship opportunities, either that you're offering or that you have seen several of your clients to be interested in recently?
Well, what we do is we do help people who are coaches understand how not to violate the law. And we help people from other professions moving into coaching to understand what's legal as a coach and what's not. And those are significant areas. I'm trying to think on the financial side. You hit the nail on the head with AI, obviously. But also, you know what, Shannon? I don't know if this is helpful for you or not because it's what you do. But there are so many apps out there that are kind of like bookkeepers, but I don't really know what they are. But they're more like Monarch and Quicken and Origin, but they do other things also. And that is totally confusing for people. And I don't know if those are things that replace the work that you do or enhance and support the work that you do. I don't really know. So forgive me if I'm speaking out of turn here. But I think education around like how these tools can be helpful, but this is also why you need a bookkeeper or how these tools can help you on a daily basis or to help you check your bank records quickly or look at your snapshot of your profits or your assets and liabilities. But I think that's very confusing for people. They don't know what tools can help them versus what they need you for or they need an accountant for. Because like I was saying, you can use AI to do some research. When do I need a trademark? These tools are helpful, but also they don't do everything. They shouldn't replace.
Yeah, they don't do everything. And I feel like those tools, like the Origins, the Monarchs of the world, most of the time they don't give you the full picture. They give you a
Yeah.
part of the picture.
I'll tell you what, Origin gives you a giant picture.
It gives you too much information.
Well, I don't know if it's that, but it's very comprehensive.
Okay.
So I think it depends on where people are in their money, their understanding of money. That could be
Yeah.
totally overwhelming to someone, or they could be thrilled to have everything in one place. It's an investments and assets. It's not just like managing your daily budget or something.
Not just business.
No,
Yeah.
no.
I
Yeah.
think it's interesting
no.
then to think about people's relationship with money and talked a little bit earlier about people who avoid money and people who stress out about money. Right. And when I see those apps and people are like almost enamored with what it can give them and they're so excited and or they're completely overwhelmed by it. Right.
Yeah, sure.
I'm like, okay, can we dig into what that is doing to you and your body and like
Yeah,
what is
that's
your
right.
relationship?
Right.
Because we
Exactly.
can really tell a lot by like, if you're so enamored with that and you love every minute of it, is there something else that you're avoiding in your business that you really want?
Yeah.
But instead, we're going to like go into all these details. I mean, we get on calls with clients
Yeah.
sometimes and they're like, no, I want to look at every single penny in my bank account. And I'm like, why?
Well, that's very profit first. Like I have to say, I like profit first and I don't like profit first because it gives every single penny a job and that really makes me insane. So it's not the best system for me, but the concept of paying yourself first is a really good concept. But the whole assigning every penny, everything drives me insane. That's
Yeah,
for
I
me.
think it can absolutely be taken too far, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, we have people who come to us with multiple bank accounts, 10, 15 bank accounts. And I'm
Yeah.
like, that's too much. Like to me, you're avoiding something when you're
Mhm.
doing that,
I
right? Like there's something else going on that you're avoiding doing in your business. Maybe you're avoiding sales, right? Or maybe you're avoiding.
Oh, I see what you're saying. They're like distracted with some like baking cookies rather than working on their business. Like
Exactly.
over there baking the cookies with the bank accounts, like just doing something totally not
Right, doing busy work that doesn't really help
yeah,
them do their
exactly.
business, you know?
Well,
And
that's
I'm like,
right.
we don't need to look at every single penny. We need the
Yeah.
big buckets to make sure that
Yeah.
you're getting paid, to make sure your taxes are paid, and that
Yes.
you're profitable.
I spent too much work moving the money around in the different buckets. I'm like, this is
Absolutely.
ridiculous. Like, it's too much. Like that is too much. Like YNAB is too much. It's just too wide. And then like, even when you have to go in and recategorize the categories and like, this is wasting my time. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Everyone has something that feels like ease for them. Some people love that. It makes them so happy. It feels clean. It feels safe. They feel held. They feel supported. And me, I'm like, this is ridiculous. This does not help me in any way whatsoever. So like everyone's different, I think. And it's the key. And what makes your job difficult, Shannon, is figuring out what system works for them.
Yeah. Right, Lisa. It's like that's in my world, like that's where I see a good coach helps you figure out what's good for you. And it's not.
Yeah, that's right. That is the definition of coaching. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what we
You
have
have
fun
so
doing.
many tools in your toolbox to be able to help them, which is amazing.
Yeah. Like I said, everybody's different, or you said.
And
I really don't
people are
care
different.
as long as money is working for you.
Yeah. Right. Figure it out.
Profitable. Everything's taken care of. Whatever's working is great. We don't need to reinvent it. But most people that come to us,
Most people need help. Yeah, of course. But we don't learn it. People don't learn it in their lives. We don't learn it. It's unfortunate, really.
yeah,
It's like interpersonal communication. We don't learn that either. And like love languages and things that actually make relationships work. We just don't learn these things.
yeah. Exactly.
Is
Is there anything else that you like have come to mind and you're like, oh, I want to be sure to say anything else?
No, I really love that you help people with this work and that you are like a gentle soul that where they can land safely and feel supported in an area where they just feel so insecure. I think that's such a gift, especially to newer coaches where this is like their first venture into the world of managing their own money in a business. And they don't even know, Shannon, they have to have a separate business account. And even as a sole proprietor, it's not legally required, but it's a really good idea. But because they can start being able to track all this, they just don't know basic stuff. So
Yeah.
it's great that you're helping.
Yeah. Well, likewise, I love that there's people out there who understand really complex things like the law and can bring it down in a down to earth way for everybody to understand. Business owners who really just want to help people. And we just want to make sure that, first of all, they can do it as long as they want to and that they don't get in trouble doing it.
Tell people they don't want to get in financial troubles. They don't want to get in legal trouble. And I have to know that you do this too, because people do ask me from time to time if I know bookkeepers who understand coaches. So I will definitely keep you in mind.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I like the pics of your babes behind you there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so sorry I have to hop off, but thank you so much. This is great. Nice to see you.
Likewise. Take care.
Thank
Lisa.
you.
Talk soon.
Thanks for listening to Behind the Numbers. If today's conversation resonated with you, subscribe on YouTube so you don't miss a new episode every week. And if you're a health or wellness business owner who's ever wondered what's really going on behind your own numbers, I'd love to talk. Head to fitforprofit.com to learn more or book a complimentary clarity call. We'll see you next week.